The message arrived on a Tuesday morning. It came through every radio telescope, television station, and internet server at once. The words appeared in each local language across the globe. Greetings, people of Earth. We are the Galactic Council. Life on Earth stopped. People stood in streets looking up at the sky. Soldiers gripped their weapons tighter. Presidents and prime ministers rushed to emergency meetings. The message continued. We represent 27 spacefaring species who live together in peace. We have watched your world for some time. You have reached a level of technology that qualifies you to join us. Representatives will arrive in 7 Earth days to discuss terms. The United Nations called an emergency session. Countries that never spoke to each other now shared information freely. They needed to pick representatives for all of humanity. After 3 days of debate, they chose Navy Commander Jack Miller and diplomat Susan Wright. Jack had combat experience and a calm mind. Susan had negotiated peace between warring nations twice. Together, they would speak for Earth. I don't like this, Jack said as they prepared in a secret facility. Nobody gives gifts without wanting something in return. Susan nodded. I agree, but we need to hear them out. This could change everything for humanity. On the 7th day, a ship appeared above New York City. It hovered silently, beautiful and strange with curves that seemed impossible. A smaller vessel descended to the landing area prepared at the UN headquarters. 3 beings emerged. They looked almost like tall, thin humans with skin in shades of blue and green. Their eyes were larger, and they had 6 fingers on each hand. I am Sorrel, first speaker of the Galactic Council, said the tallest one. Its voice was musical and perfect, coming from a small device at its throat. We bring friendship and knowledge. For 2 days, Jack and Susan met with the aliens. They learned about the Council's history, spanning thousands of years. They saw images of amazing worlds and technologies beyond human understanding. The aliens seemed kind and patient, answering every question. On the 3rd day, Sorrel presented a document. These are our terms for Earth's membership in the Council. They are standard for all new species. Susan read through the agreement carefully. Most seemed reasonable. Environmental protections, peaceful resolution of conflicts, shared scientific knowledge. But as she read deeper, she found concerning details. This says we must limit our population growth, she said. And this section restricts how many ships we can build. Sorrel nodded. New species require guidance. These protections ensure stability as you join the galactic community. That night, analysts worked through every word of the agreement. They found more hidden problems. Earth would have to provide resources to the Council, but would receive little in return. Humans would not be allowed to colonize new worlds without permission. Earth's military would be placed under Council control. This isn't membership, Jack said during their private meeting. It's surrender. Susan agreed. They're treating us like children who can't be trusted. The next morning, they met with Earth's leaders. Every country had the same reaction. The terms were unacceptable. When they met with Sorrel again, Susan spoke clearly. Earth appreciates your offer, but we must decline these terms. We would welcome fair negotiations for a more equal partnership. Sorrel's expression didn't change, but the air in the room seemed to grow colder. No species has ever rejected our terms, it said. The terms are not negotiable. Jack stepped forward. Then neither is our answer. Earth declines. The aliens left without another word. Their ship departed Earth orbit immediately. The message they sent as they left was brief. You have made a grave error. There will be consequences. Earth's leaders prepared for the worst. But no one could have predicted how humanity's rejection would shake the foundations of the Galactic Council itself. 3 weeks passed without any word from the Galactic Council. Earth's nations remained on high alert. Military bases worldwide operated at full readiness. Space agencies monitored every corner of the sky. Then a message arrived. The Council requests Earth reconsider its position. Senior representatives will arrive to present final terms. This time, The alien ship that entered Earth's orbit was massive. It stretched nearly 2 miles long, its surface gleaming like pearl under the sun. The ship, called Celestial Harmony, dwarfed anything humans had ever built. 5 council members descended to Earth. Their leader, Ambassador Zorthak, stood nearly 7 feet tall with skin that shifted colors like oil on water. "We believe there was a misunderstanding," Zorthak said during the first meeting. "The Council offers protection and guidance to developing species. These are not suggestions, they are requirements." Susan Wright kept her voice calm. "We understand your position. However, Earth cannot accept terms that limit our sovereignty." Zorthak's skin darkened. "Humans are known to be unpredictably violent. Your history is filled with warfare. The Council cannot allow an unstable species free access to the stars." Jack Miller leaned forward. "If you've studied our history, you know we also value freedom above all else." The meeting ended with tension thick in the air. That evening, Jack received a secret message from a junior member of the alien delegation. They met in a quiet park after midnight. "My name is Krell," said the small, nervous alien. "Not all council members agree with this approach to Earth. I want to help you." Krell gave Jack access to hidden council records. Jack spent the night reviewing files showing how previously admitted species had been systematically exploited. The Council took their resources while keeping their technology deliberately limited. Some species had been members for centuries but were still treated as inferiors. Meanwhile, Susan made her own discovery. A data packet intercepted by Earth's security team contained private communications between Council leaders. They discussed plans to establish military bases on Earth and to begin resource extraction protocols within 5 years. "They never intended to treat us as equals," Susan told Jack the next morning. "We would be their colony, not their partner." When they met with Earth's leaders, the evidence was overwhelming. The Galactic Council was not the benevolent organization it claimed to be. It was an empire that expanded by absorbing weaker species through deception. At the final meeting, Ambassador Zorthak presented a document titled Final Terms of Integration. The requirements were even more restrictive than before. Earth would surrender control of its military, limit space exploration, and provide quotas of raw materials and human workers for Council projects. "These terms are not negotiable," Zorthak said. "Refusal will result in Earth's complete isolation from galactic society." Susan stood up, her face showing no fear. "Ambassador, I speak for all nations of Earth when I say this. We respectfully decline your terms." Zorthak's skin turned deep red. "No species has ever twice refused the Council. Do you understand what you are doing?" Jack joined Susan. "We understand perfectly. Earth will find its own path among the stars. We would welcome true friendship with the Council, but we will not accept servitude." The Council delegation departed immediately. Their massive ship lingered in orbit for 1 day before vanishing into deep space. The message they broadcast before leaving was heard on every communication device on Earth. By unanimous decision, Earth is declared a restricted world. Any contact with humans is forbidden. Any human vessel encountered beyond your solar system will be considered hostile. Earth's leaders celebrated their stand for independence, but within days they would learn that their defiance had triggered something unexpected within the Galactic Council. Cracks were beginning to form in an empire that had stood unchallenged for thousands of years. 2 months after Earth's second refusal, strange signals began reaching Earth's communication systems. They came from different parts of space, encoded in ways that took days to decipher. Their messages from other species, Susan explained to the Emergency Council, species that are part of the Galactic Council. The first message came from the Nelvari, a race of gentle beings from a water world. "Your resistance has given us courage," their message said. "We have suffered under Council rule for 3 centuries. The second came from the Traxians, skilled engineers who had been forced to build Council ships without receiving advanced technology in return. "Humans are not alone in questioning the Council," they wrote. The third came from Krell, the Council member who had helped Jack. The Council is in turmoil. No species has ever rejected membership. Many are asking why humans saw what others missed. The Council has ordered a complete trade embargo on your solar system. Jack worked with military leaders to prepare Earth's defenses. They expected the Council to take action beyond words. Every satellite and space telescope watched for approaching ships. We need to respond to these friendly species, Susan told Earth's leaders. They're taking enormous risks by contacting us. With approval, Susan established secure communication channels with the sympathetic aliens. She learned that many species had been unhappy with Council rule for centuries, but had been too afraid to speak out. The Council maintains control by keeping species separated, she explained in her report. Each species believes they are the only ones being treated unfairly. 1 month later, a small ship entered the solar system. Earth's military prepared to intercept it, but it broadcast a friendly message. We come in peace from Vormia. We wish to establish direct relations with Earth. The Vormian delegates were tall beings with 4 arms and silver skin. They met with Jack and Susan in a secure facility. Your rejection of the Council has started something remarkable, said the Vormian leader, Tech. For the first time, in 2,000 years, member species are questioning the Council's authority. Tech explained that the Council had always claimed new species eagerly joined for protection and benefits. Earth's public refusal revealed this as a lie. The Council depends on each species believing they need protection, Tech said. Humans demonstrated another path is possible. While they talked, news arrived that the Galactic Council had officially condemned Earth as dangerously unstable and forbidden any contact. All trade with the solar system was banned. Any ship traveling to Earth would be seized. They're trying to isolate you, Tech said. But it's too late. The idea of resistance has already spread. Jack asked the question everyone was thinking. Will they attack us? Tech's 4 hands made a complex gesture. The Council claims to be peaceful. Open warfare would destroy that image. But there are other ways they might strike. Be vigilant. Before the Vormian ship departed, they gave Earth something precious. Complete star maps of Council space and technical specifications of Council ships. We were forced to keep our technology simple, Tech said. But humans are innovative. Perhaps you will see solutions we have missed. Susan established regular secret communications with 7 sympathetic species. Earth gained new friends and allies throughout the galaxy. Meanwhile, reports from Krell revealed growing conflict within the Council. 3 species had formally protested Earth's isolation. Others questioned why humans were considered so dangerous. The Council, united for thousands of years, was beginning to fracture. We expected consequences, Jack said during a briefing with world leaders. But I don't think anyone expected this. Our rejection didn't just protect Earth. It might free dozens of oppressed civilizations. As Earth prepared for whatever might come next, the first major crack appeared in the Council's perfect facade. The Nelvari publicly questioned why the Council feared human independence so much. The question that had never been asked before now echoed through the galaxy. What was the Council really afraid of? 6 months after Earth's rejection of Council terms, the first public break in the Council's unity occurred. The Nelvari, Traxians, and Vormians formally questioned the Council's leadership during an open session. Their representatives demanded to know why humans were considered such a threat. The recording was shared across all Council worlds. Krell told Susan during their secret communication, "It's causing massive changes in how people think." On Earth, Vice Admiral Nancy Peters led a special project. Using the star maps provided by the Vormians, she planned secret missions to establish direct contact with rebel factions. "We need reliable allies out there," she explained to Jack and Susan, "and we need to know what the Council is planning." The first mission launched quietly from the dark side of the moon. The small ship, designed to avoid detection, carried 4 crew members trained in first contact protocols. Their destination was a remote Traxian outpost, where they would establish Earth's first off-world embassy. Meanwhile, Earth scientist Alan Garcia made a breakthrough. Working with technical data from Council ships, he discovered a fundamental flaw in their faster-than-light travel system. Their entire technology is based on an outdated understanding of quantum fields, he explained to military leaders. With a few adjustments, we could create a system twice as efficient. Alan's team worked day and night to develop Earth's first FTL drive. Unlike the Council design, which required rare materials, Earth's version used common elements. This discovery could change the balance of power in the galaxy. News from Council space grew more troubling. The ruling members had divided into two factions. One group, led by Zorthak, wanted to force human compliance through any means necessary. The other, larger group admired human independence and questioned centuries of Council policy. The Council has never faced internal division before, Krell reported. They don't know how to handle disagreement. 3 months later, the first human ship with FTL capability was ready for testing. Jack attended the launch ceremony. As the ship prepared to depart Earth orbit, sensors detected multiple objects entering the solar system. Council ships confirmed the tracking station. 7 vessels approaching Mars. Earth's military went on high alert. The test ship was ordered to stand down. Jack rushed to the command center where Susan was already working to establish communication. "This is Earth command to approaching vessels. State your purpose," Susan broadcasted. The reply came not from Council officials but from a familiar voice. "This is Tech of Vormia. We come seeking asylum. The Council has declared us traitors for supporting Earth." The 7 ships carried over 2,000 Vormians who had fled their homeworld after the Council imposed martial law. They brought families, cultural treasures, and advanced technology they had hidden from Council inspectors for centuries. "The Council is falling apart," Tech told Earth's leaders after landing. 23 member species are now openly questioning Council authority. Galaxy-wide trade has dropped by 30% as trust breaks down. The news spread quickly across Earth. Humans were not alone in the galaxy. They had allies, and together, they might stand against the Council's oppression. More reports arrived from Krell. The Council was suffering from internal sabotage. Supply ships disappeared. Communication systems failed. Military vessels reported crew members deserting at distant outposts. "Your rejection started something no one could have predicted," Krell wrote. For thousands of years, species believed Council membership was the only path to survival. Now they see another way. Earth welcomed the Vormian refugees and prepared for whatever might come next. The test ship with Alan's new FTL drive successfully completed its first jump a week later, traveling farther in moments than Council ships could go in days. As Jack watched the ship return to orbit, he thought about how much had changed. 6 months ago, humanity feared isolation from galactic society. Now Earth was becoming the center of a new alliance that might reshape the stars themselves. "The Council wanted to control us," Susan said, standing beside him. "Instead, they may have set the entire galaxy free." The Council's response to growing rebellion was swift and brutal. Hardliners, led by Zorthak, decided that Earth was the source of all problems. If they eliminated key human leaders, the rebellion would collapse. The first attack came without warning. A small stealth ship entered Earth's atmosphere and fired energy weapons at a government building in Geneva. The structure was destroyed, but early warning systems had detected the approach. The targeted officials had been evacuated minutes before. "They're trying to cut off the head of resistance," Director Frank Johnson told an emergency meeting. His intelligence network had intercepted communications about the planned assassinations. "This is just the beginning." Frank's prediction proved correct. Over the next week, 12 attempts were made on the lives of Earth's leaders, military commanders, and scientists. Most failed due to enhanced security, but 3 officials were killed. Susan barely escaped when her shuttle was attacked during a trip to meet with Vormian representatives. The attackers used weapons that could pierce most Earth defenses. "We need better protection," Jack insisted after Susan's close call. "And we need to show the Council we're not defenseless." For months, Earth had been quietly building a defense fleet using the advanced technology shared by their alien allies. 20 ships with new FTL drives and powerful weapon systems were nearly complete, hidden in secret facilities across the solar system. "It's time to reveal what we've been working on," said Vice Admiral Nancy Peters. "The Council thinks we're helpless. Let's change their minds." In a carefully planned operation, Earth publicly unveiled its defense fleet. The ships emerged from hiding and formed a protective formation around the planet. Images were broadcast across all frequencies, including those used by Council communications. The effect on the Council was immediate. 5 mid-level species declared themselves neutral in what they now called the human conflict. They withdrew their representatives from Council headquarters and recalled their military ships. "The Council promised us that humans were primitives," one representative announced. "They clearly lied. What else have they lied about?" Krell's reports became more urgent. Council space was in turmoil. Trade routes collapsed as ships refused to leave their home systems. The galactic economy, stable for thousands of years, began to falter. "Some systems haven't received essential supplies in weeks," Krell wrote. "Planets that depended on Council distribution networks are facing shortages." On Earth, Alan Garcia made another breakthrough. Working with Vormian scientists, he developed a shield system that could block the Council's most powerful weapons. The technology was quickly added to Earth's ships and major cities. Just in time, 3 large Council warships appeared at the edge of the solar system. They moved directly toward Earth, ignoring all communication attempts. "This is their response to our fleet," Jack said as he watched the tactical display. "They want to show they're still in control." Earth's ships moved to intercept. The Council vessels fired first, expecting to easily destroy the human ships. Instead, the new shields absorbed the energy attacks with minimal damage. The battle lasted less than an hour. 2 Council ships were disabled, and the third retreated, jumping to FTL as soon as it cleared the solar system. News of the Council's defeat spread rapidly across the galaxy. Species that had been waiting to see if humans could truly stand against the Council now had their answer. The Vormians formally withdrew from the Council the next day. Their announcement was broadcast to all Council worlds. "For too long, we accepted rule based on fear and lies. We now stand with Earth for freedom and true cooperation." 6 other species quickly followed, declaring themselves independent. The Council, once the undisputed power in the galaxy, was rapidly losing its grip. Susan met with representatives from the newly independent worlds. Together, they began discussions about forming a new alliance based on equality and mutual benefit. "This isn't just about survival anymore," she told them. "It's about building something better than what the Council offered, something that respects the rights of all species." As they talked, reports arrived that Council headquarters had been evacuated. The perfect unity that had lasted for thousands of years was crumbling in a matter of months. The Vormians' public withdrawal from the Council sparked a chain reaction. Within days, official announcements came from the Nelvari and Traxians that they too were leaving. The 3 species immediately established diplomatic relations with Earth. "This is unprecedented," Krell reported in his latest message. "No species has ever left the Council since its founding." The ruling members are in panic. Reports from across the galaxy painted a picture of growing chaos. On a remote Nelvari colony world, Council forces had imposed martial law. They claimed it was to maintain order, but in reality, they were punishing the Nelvari for their defiance. "We can't stand by while they suffer," Jack told Earth's unified command. "If we want allies, we need to prove we're worth allying with." A joint rescue mission was planned. Earth would contribute 5 ships with the new shield technology. The Vormians and Traxians would add their vessels to create a combined fleet. Their mission: liberate the Nelvari colony and evacuate any who wished to leave. Jack personally led the Earth contingent. As the highest-ranking military officer with combat experience, he was the natural choice to coordinate the operation. The joint fleet arrived at the Nelvari colony, expecting heavy resistance. Instead, they found the Council forces in disarray. Many ships had already abandoned their posts, leaving only a skeleton crew to maintain the blockade. "Their hearts aren't in this fight," said the Vormian captain. "The Council is losing control of its own military." The liberation took less than a day. The remaining Council ships retreated without firing a shot. The Nelvari colonists celebrated their freedom, with many choosing to evacuate to safer worlds. When the fleet returned to Earth, they found Susan preparing for a bold move. With support from Earth's governments, she had established what she called the Free Worlds Coalition. Already, 11 former Council species had expressed interest in joining. "This is more than just resistance now," she explained to Jack. "We're building the alternative the galaxy needs." The coalition's founding principles were simple. Each member world would maintain its sovereignty, share technology fairly, and come to the aid of others if attacked. There would be no governing body with power over member worlds, only a council of equals making decisions by consensus. While Susan worked on diplomacy, Earth continued strengthening its defenses. Alan Garcia's team had developed automated defense platforms that could be placed throughout the solar system. These platforms could detect and intercept Council ships before they came near Earth. 3 months after the Nelvari colony liberation, Susan received an unexpected message. The moderate faction of the Council wanted to open dialogue with Earth. They requested a meeting on neutral territory to discuss possible peace terms. "It could be a trap," Jack warned. "Or it could be our chance to end this conflict before more lives are lost," Susan replied. After much debate, Earth agreed to the meeting. Susan would represent both Earth and the new coalition. The location would be a space station at the edge of what had once been Council space, now claimed by independent worlds. Susan arrived with a small security team to find 6 Council representatives waiting. Their spokesperson was not Zor Thak, but a new figure, a measured, thoughtful being named Vela. "The Council has existed for thousands of years," Vela began. "We believed our way was the only way to maintain peace among diverse species. Earth has proven us wrong." Susan presented the coalition's terms. "The Council must recognize the independence of all worlds that wish to leave, end all military actions against former members, and agree to non-interference in coalition affairs." Vela listened carefully. Many on the Council would find these terms difficult to accept, but the alternative is continued conflict that benefits no one. The discussion lasted for hours. No final agreement was reached, but a ceasefire was established. For the first time, the mighty Galactic Council was negotiating as an equal, not a superior. As Susan prepared to depart, Vela offered a final observation. "When your world rejected our terms, we thought you were being foolish. Now I wonder if you saw what we have forgotten, that true cooperation cannot be forced, only chosen." Susan returned to Earth with news of the ceasefire. It wasn't peace yet, but it was a beginning. The galaxy was changing, and humanity's refusal to negotiate under unfair terms had been the catalyst. The ceasefire lasted just 2 weeks. While the moderate Council members worked toward peace, Zor Thak and his hardline supporters plotted one final attack. They believed a decisive strike against Earth would restore the Council's fading power. Krell discovered the plan and risked everything to warn Earth. Zor Thak has gathered 30 warships. They plan to attack in 3 days. Their target is Earth itself. Earth and its allies prepared for the assault. Every available ship was called to defend the solar system. Defense platforms were activated. Civilian populations moved to underground shelters. "This is their desperate move," Jack told the combined fleet commanders. "They know they're losing control of the galaxy. They think destroying us will fix everything." The coalition now included 17 former Council species. Each sent ships to help protect Earth. The defensive fleet numbered over 70 vessels, many equipped with Alan Garcia's advanced shields and weapons. The Council attack force arrived exactly when Krell had predicted. 30 large warships appeared at the edge of the solar system. At their center was the massive command ship Council Authority, with Zorthak himself directing the attack. "Surrender immediately or face extinction," came the transmission from Zorthak. "This is your final chance to accept your proper place in the galactic order." Jack responded simply, "We choose freedom. We always will." The battle began. Council ships launched their most powerful weapons, expecting to overwhelm Earth's defenses. But the combination of Alan's shields and the coordinated tactics of the Coalition fleet frustrated their attacks. The fighting lasted for hours. 5 Earth ships were badly damaged. 3 Allied vessels were destroyed. But the Council forces suffered far worse. Their outdated tactics were no match for the innovative approaches developed by the Coalition. From her position in the command center, Susan monitored communications across the galaxy. Reports were coming in from dozens of worlds. Seeing Earth's successful defense, more species were declaring independence from the Council. The turning point came when Jack led a daring attack on the Council authority. A small strike team boarded the command ship and captured Zorthak himself. With their leader taken and half their fleet disabled, the remaining Council ships retreated. As the battle ended, Susan received an urgent message from Vela and the moderate Council faction. "The Council has collapsed. 29 member species have withdrawn their support. The ruling assembly has been dissolved." 3 days later, representatives from over 40 species gathered on Earth to discuss the future. Among them was Vela, no longer representing the Council but her own people. "For thousands of years, the Council maintained what we called peace," Vela told the assembly. "But it was control, not true peace. Earth showed us the difference." In the days that followed, a new agreement began to take shape. The Free Worlds Coalition would expand to include any species wishing to join. Each would maintain its independence while committing to mutual defense and fair exchange of knowledge and resources. Zorthak and other hardline Council leaders faced justice for their actions. Evidence revealed centuries of manipulation, suppression, and secret violence against member species who had shown signs of resistance. Jack oversaw the creation of a combined defense force with representatives from all Coalition members. Unlike the Council's military, this force would answer to all members equally, with no single species in control. "We should remember something important," Jack told the new commanders. "Our strength came not just from technology or tactics, but from choice. Every ship that fought with us did so freely." Susan worked with Vela and others to establish communication and trade networks independent of the old Council systems. For the first time in millennia, species were connecting directly with each other without Council oversight. Earth's rejection started this, Krell said during a private meeting with Susan and Jack. But what comes next is even more important, building something better than what came before. As the last Council strongholds surrendered or made peace with the Coalition, a new era of galactic history began. For thousands of years, the stars had known only one path: submission to the Council. Now countless possibilities lay open, and it had all started with one simple human response. 1 year had passed since the fall of the Galactic Council. Earth had changed in ways few could have imagined. Ships from dozens of worlds now visited regularly. Alien technology had helped solve problems of energy, food production, and disease. Humans were traveling to the stars, establishing colonies and trading posts. But the greatest change was happening today. Representatives from 31 species gathered in a newly built hall in Geneva. They had come to sign what was being called the Galactic Concordat, a formal alliance to replace the failed Council. Jack, now holding the rank of Admiral, watched as delegates took their places. He remembered the day the first Council ship had appeared above Earth. Back then, he had feared for humanity's future. Now he helped lead a galactic alliance. "Nervous?" Susan asked, joining him at the window. As the newly elected human chairperson of the Galactic Assembly, she would preside over the signing ceremony. "Thoughtful," Jack replied. "A year ago, we were fighting for survival. Now we're helping shape the future of the galaxy." The hall filled with beings of every shape, size, and color. Some breathed different air mixtures. Others needed special gravity adjustments, but all had come freely, choosing to join together rather than being forced. Alan Garcia was there too. His technological innovations had become the foundation for a new era of cooperative development. Species that had been kept technologically dependent under the Council were now creating their own advances, sharing knowledge openly. The old Council believed advanced technology had to be controlled. Alan told a group of scientists from 5 different worlds. They were wrong. When we share knowledge, everyone benefits. At the center of the hall stood the Concordat document. Unlike the Council's rules, which had filled thousands of pages with restrictions and requirements, the Concordat was simple. Just 10 pages expressing basic principles: mutual respect, self-determination, fair trade, shared defense, and open communication. Susan called the assembly to order. As representatives took turns signing the document, she reflected on how it had all begun. 1 year ago, Earth made a choice that seemed small at the time. She told the gathered delegates, "We said no to terms that would have limited our freedom." We didn't know then that so many others felt the same way. Krell, now serving as representative of his people, was one of the last to sign. For centuries, the Council maintained what they called peace through control, he said. Today we begin true peace through cooperation. After the signing, trials began for former Council leaders. Evidence showed how they had manipulated species against each other, prevented technological advancement, and extracted resources from worlds while giving little in return. Their greatest crime was convincing us we needed them, Vela told the tribunal. They made us believe we couldn't govern ourselves. The new alliance faced challenges. Some former Council species refused to join, preferring isolation. Pirates and raiders took advantage of changing power structures. But the Concordat fleet, with ships from all member worlds, worked together to maintain safety. Jack oversaw training for the combined forces. Under the Council, species were kept separate, unable to learn from each other, he told new recruits. Our strength comes from our differences, not despite them. Earth's influence continued to grow. Human adaptability and innovation, combined with the specialized knowledge of other species, solved problems that had persisted for centuries. The former Council headquarters, once a symbol of control, was transformed into a center for cultural exchange. Species that had been kept apart now learned about each other directly. The Council feared chaos, Susan said during the center's opening. They believed without their control, the galaxy would fall into disorder. They were wrong. We found a better way. On the anniversary of Earth's first rejection of Council terms, a monument was unveiled in Geneva. It showed human hands extended toward the stars, with a simple inscription. Sometimes the greatest yes begins with saying no. As night fell on the celebration, Jack looked up at the stars. Once they had seemed distant and unreachable. Now they represented possibility, connection, and freedom. We made the right choice, Susan said, following his gaze upward. Jack nodded, and so did everyone else. The stars above them shone with new meaning. They were no longer distant points of light, but homes of friends and allies, all part of a galaxy learning what real cooperation meant.